Hi guys, so as you can tell, I made an AU. It's brand new, so don't expect anything other than a basic introduction to what this is and the characters it involves. I can't work on it in depth just yet. I have other projects to finish. Anyway, this AU is called Bargain Bin. The main characters in it are Spamton and Jevil. I made these two roommates. I've been seeing this concept of them as roommates around and I wanted to try it out myself. The AU is set up like a sitcom, so expect plot like Jevil and Spamton look for jobs and try not to get fired, and Jevil and Spamton try to cook something edible, stuff like that. I'm still working on the details, but I set up this AU like this. Dark worlds are basically like separate cities, and you can just travel to them by car and stuff. I think I'm going to go with the idea that the fountains were just blocking the entrance to the neighboring cities, so everyone was stuck. And the fountains were at risk of flooding the cities into eternal darkness. So once Chris sealed the fountains, people just got back to their daily lives. You know, not dead. The cities have their usual appearances, but with my own spin on them. And there are buildings there that weren't before. The first Dark World, Card Kingdom, is like a small town, while Cyberworld is the big city. So at first, Jevil is working as a street performer on his own, trying to make enough to get an apartment. Once he does, he finds Spamton hiding in a dumpster nearby. He invites him to live in his apartment so long as he pays half the rent. So starts their desperate job search. When they're not job hunting or working, they try to fix up the apartment, clean, or go perform at comedy shows at the local bars at night. They both like the idea of making it big, so they go for any opportunity that comes their way. Eventually, Jevil manages to find a job he's fairly good at, working in a daycare, since he's good with entertaining kids. He also helps Seem at his antique shop sometimes. Wait, no, it's pronounced Sean. Sham? Sham. He helps Sham at his antique shop sometimes. Spamton lands a job with Sweet Cabin Cakes at their junk shop. That's also a music studio. And yeah, they get to enjoy a bit of stability for a while. In jobs that they actually manage to keep for a change. The characters in this all have new jobs and roles. Sham, like I mentioned, owns an antique shop, but he's also a magician for kids' parties. He couldn't help but come back to his roots. Then there's Rules. He works in marketing, so he's basically a desperate salesman trying to keep customers interested. He's the type to try so hard that he messes things up, so he's kind of hanging by a thread in this career. The king is still in jail, so he's raising Lancer on his own. There isn't really a school here, so Lancer stays at the daycare when Rules is working. The Addisons are also in this. They have jobs similar to their original ones, but they're the owners of the shops in town. Sky, the blue Addison, owns a tea shop. Val, the pink one, owns a shoe shop. Sun, the orange one, is a tailor, and Wim, the yellow one, owns an item and food shop. They haven't found out this band is alive yet, but they might later. Oh, then there's Queen. Queen works at a huge company and as a CEO, but she doesn't really do much there. Her focus is in her influencer career. She's a YouTuber and Twitch streamer. She records from her office. Swatch is still her helper. He got dragged into it because he doesn't know how to say no. She's making him do everything. He's exhausted. Help him. Queen has been trying for weeks to invent a new color, and he doesn't know how to tell her you can't do that. He's going to lose it at some point. Also, Queen has a hoverboard that she uses to get around the building and pretty much anywhere. She also has a nice hat that doesn't fit her head. Swatch is in charge of catching the hat when it slips off her alien-shaped head, which is often. I added this character last second because I thought I could use one more character for the plot involving Queen, and who's better than another person who worked in the castle? So I added Task Manager. She made the smart decision of never working for Queen again and started a task shelter. She rescues and cares for a bunch of tasks who need homes. She's also the one person who can get Swatch away from Queen once in a while to relax. She needs to teach this man boundaries. She likes to invite him to help at the shelter, but it's actually a ploy to get him to chill out with a bunch of tasks. He likes cats. Those are all the characters I plan on including for now. I don't want this to get too complicated. I wanted to make this because I like making characters interact that don't normally in canon. So I set up situations for that to happen. And don't expect much of Chris, Susie, or Rousey, or anyone in the light world. This is going to focus on the NPCs. But we may see them around from time to time since the rules in this world are different and they can go wherever they want, even after sealing the fountains. Also, I'm changing how things ended up for Spamton and Jevil to fit the AU. They both still have most of their lore and stuff, but Jevil and Spamton are items, obviously. They were spared and left to do whatever they wanted. Spamton wandered into a new city and lived in dumpsters, and Jevil tried to move on from Sham. Please tell me how to pronounce it in the comments. Anyway, so yeah, Spamton moved into the dumpsters, and Jevil tried to move on from Sham and the whole jester thing and started working as a street performer. That's how this whole thing is going to start. Anyway, that's all I have planned so far. I'm going to finish up some other projects before I get wrapped up into this ordeal. I hope my rambling was at least somewhat coherent. If not, then it's a good thing I put some art in here. You can look at the pictures if they interest you. Here, look at this. Nice. Yeah, that's all I've got, so see you later. I'll talk about more stuff soon, I just have to decide on what to talk about. I could give my headcanons and ideas on Spamton and the Addisons, the Fun Gang, or talk about my predictions for later chapters. Feel free to let me know in the comments if any of those ideas sound interesting. I'm out. Bye.